Look, all I'm saying is celebrities don't live by the same rules you and I do. I mean, Chris Brown, Justin Bieber, they continue to make music of varying quality. But I can't even turn a profit on my new video game.
Well, in the video game industry, stars aren't exempt from the rules of the business. Their game still has to stand on its own merits just like everybody else.
Even if my game does suck, I bet you that I can make millions of dollars if I get a celebrity to endorse it. Millions of dollars.
Matt, you're not hearing me. It doesn't matter if you have a celebrity endorsement. There's hundreds of games that have celebrities in them. Your game still has to be somewhat good to sell even marginally.
Millions.
Matt, are you even listening to me?
Millions.
You okay?
Of dollars.
It's hard to make it in the cutthroat world of video games. All too often we hear about developers that put their hearts and souls into games that just tank in the sales department. So how do some companies try to circumvent this unpredictable landscape? By throwing a lot of money at someone famous and slapping that brand all over the place. It's an effective tactic, as some of these games might have been overlooked, and some games would have lacked that extra step forward that only comes from having a celebrity endorsement. Now we could spend days talking about the obvious choices like the Tony Hawk series, rhythm games like Rock Band and Guitar Hero, sports games, and any games that just have a celebrity in a character role, like Kevin Spacey in Advanced Warfare and Liam Neeson in Fallout 3, but that would be too easy. Instead, we're going to talk about other games that predominantly feature a celebrity at every conceivable facet. First up is Rise to Honor. I remember really liking this game when it came out. As a young kid growing up in the US, my Asian role models were limited to Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, Jet Li, Lucy Liu, Michelle Kwan, and that lady from Grey's Anatomy. It was a confusing time. Technically, Jet Li plays a character in this game, but look at the box art. He's front and center. Plus, the full name of the game is actually Jet Li Rise to Honor, and it's sold almost entirely on the premise of being a video game wherein you get to be Jet Li. The entire thing is set up like a movie, right down to the menus looking like those on a DVD. As a video game, however, it's pretty average. The motion-captured martial arts is pretty cool, especially by 2004 standards, but all in all, I don't think it's anything to write home about. Sure, the analog stick controls are original, but they're somewhat imprecise, and since the right analog stick is used to attack, the camera is automatically controlled by the game, which can lead to some occasional trouble. Also, I don't think that's Jet Li's voice when he's speaking Chinese. Here's one of the bonus behind-the-scenes clips where Jet Li is speaking Chinese, just for reference. I think those are two different people. It just seems odd that a game so focused on delivering an authentic Jet Li experience would skimp on such a detail. All that aside, I still really like Rise to Honor. Sure, Stranglehold is a much better game, and Sleeping Dogs is arguably the current apex of martial arts video games, but Rise to Honor has aged moderately well, and it's quite the novelty, especially for Jet Li fans like myself. The bonus content is really my favorite part of the game. There are a few extra costumes for Kit based on Jet Li's most famous films, and the behind-the-scenes features are very interesting and fun to watch. Any fan of Jet Li, or Chinese action cinema in general, will enjoy this game as much as I do. Alright, let's keep the good game train rolling with one of my favorite celebrity video games, Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. This was one of the first celebrity video games that I could remember, and wouldn't you know it, it's actually really good. There are actually several versions of Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. The first was released by US Gold for home computer systems. There were only 4 levels, but it had the most variety out of any version of Moonwalker by far. Levels 1 and 2 are top-down mazes wherein you have to avoid crazy fans as you collect various items. Level 3 is a side-scrolling shoot-'em-up, which is pretty neat, and Level 4 is a straight shooter, only now you get to play as Robot Michael Jackson! 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 That's kick-ass! Robot Michael Jackson is one of my fondest video game memories. This ability carries over into every single version of Moonwalker, and is totally rad in all of them. In other versions of the game, Cyborg Michael is a buffed up tank that's basically unstoppable. And I love it! The version that I have is the Sega Genesis version. Moonwalker on Genesis was based off of the Moonwalker arcade game, but due to the technical limitations of the system, the Genesis version is a basic side-scroller instead of an isometric game. The Master System version is largely the same as the Genesis version, only with lesser music and graphics. The premise of Moonwalker is really simple. You play as the King of Pop, and you have to use your dancing skills to rescue kidnapped children from a bunch of bad guys. Well, I say children, but it's actually just the same girl over and over again.
Her parents should really invest in one of those child leashes. Or a gun!
So how do you find this one girl every single time? You open up every single thing that you can possibly open and hope she's in each and every one of them. Yeah, it's one of those trial and error games that you just have to play and memorize. Luckily, on top of being able to transform into
Robot Michael Jackson,
this game has some of the best music of any video game. This is especially true when considering its contemporaries on the Genesis and Super Nintendo. Some versions of the game don't have the song Thriller at all, because Thriller was composed by a man named Rob Temperton and not Michael Jackson. This means that only the initially released copies of Moonwalker had Thriller. That really sucks, but hey, nothing's perfect, right? The best part of the game, however, is your special ability. It takes up half your energy bar, but when you use it, Michael and his enemies perform one of Michael's trademark dance routines. After the dance ends, every enemy on screen dies.
Michael!
Yeah! That's how I want to go out! I can picture it now. Next up is 50 Cent Bulletproof. Yeah, now we're getting into some shit. I remember when this game came out. My cousin and I were huge fans of G-Unit at the time, and when 50 unveiled Bulletproof to the public, we were left waiting with bated breath for the game to finally release. So let's give her the old college try, for old time's sake. Before anything else, I have to turn off the music so that this video you're watching doesn't get taken down for copyright. And just so you know, you're missing out on wonderful musical poetry with lyrics like, "You make police contact, staying out of trouble, got a job yet? I'm still selling dope." Let's play the game. So how bad is Bulletproof? Well, honestly, the soundtrack is the best part of the game. In terms of controls, however, I think the developers might have been sipping on Bacardi like it was their birthdays. Moving around is oddly floaty, but the camera is really weighty, so you have this bizarre dynamic of not being able to see what's happening while you're struggling to do anything. Even shooting is bouncy and floaty, and without any way of aiming down the sights, you'll inevitably find yourself running headlong into enemies and unloading full clips of ammo at close range just so you can hit them. Oh, but don't worry, you might have crippled controls, but the enemies from this game came right from the Incompetent Idiots Institute.
Yes, yes! Cower at my impenetrable defense of a rolling dumpster.
Even the first boss is an idiot. I'm barely doing anything that can be considered strategizing, and I'm trashing him. He must have gone to the 50 Cent school of basic shootouts. 2 minutes into the game, I encountered a small but noticeable glitch. See, Lloyd Banks, the team's lockpicking expert, managed to open the door to get to the exit, but after opening the door, he wouldn't get out of the way, and with infinitely spawning enemies, I couldn't just stand around and figure out what was going on. After a few minutes of killing wave after wave of bad guys while waiting for the glitch to hopefully resolve itself, I decided to do something about it, and this is how I fixed it.
Yeah, that's right. I had to shoot my own teammate in order to get out of a glitch so I could continue the game. And here I was wondering why Curtis Jackson got shot 9 times. Although in Fiddy's defense, Banks was kinda asking for it.
One of my favorite things about Bulletproof is the ensemble cast, including Eminem.
You've reached Detective McVicker. I'm not here right now.
And Dr. Dre.
Hey, right now, I'm AWOL. But you know the drill.
Motherfucker, don't act like you forgot about Dre. But honestly, even they aren't reason enough to play this game. If you want to play a good 50 Cent title, check out the sequel, Blood in the Sand. This game is just as completely ridiculous as the first, but as a third-person cover-based shooter, it's at least comprehensible, and it has far fewer glitches. The chest-high walls are overly abundant, the enemies are still kinda stupid, and everybody in G-Unit luckily continues to wear full bandoliers of weaponry and ammunition at their concerts. But it's certainly a game. It's something you can play and enjoy, unlike Bulletproof, the thought of which you should definitely try to push into the very deepest recesses of your mind. Plus, Blood in the Sand has a designated taunt button!
You gotta do better than that! All you motherfuckers gonna pay! I didn't sign up for this shit! You motherfucker! Bring it on, bitch!
Alright, now I've saved the worst for last. Arguably one of the shittiest games of all time, we're gonna talk about Shaq Fu. Oh yeah.
Shaq Fu was released on the Genesis, Super Nintendo, Game Boy, and Game Gear. I only own the 2 console versions. However, the Game Boy version has no color and the Game Gear version has the least amount of characters and stages of any version of Shaq Fu. The Genesis game has the most playable characters and the most stages out of every version, so it should be the least shitty one, right? Yeah, right. It's probably just the most awful. The notoriously bad quality of Shaq Fu was especially odd at this time, because EA was riding a pretty strong wave of games, including the much improved Madden 95, the first Need for Speed, the surprisingly good 3DO port of Road Rash, and Wing Commander Armada.
You know what? Maybe I'm being unfair. I mean, after all, Shaq Fu was, again, released at the tail end of a bunch of really good games that came out by EA, and it got some pretty good review scores back in the day. Maybe it won't be so bad.
Oh my god, the music sounds fucking horrible! The song itself is actually kinda good, I mean, just listen to the Super Nintendo version. It's at least not bad. So why does the Sega version have this pulsating robot noise overwhelming the actual song? I know the Genesis can make good music because games like Sonic the Hedgehog, Earthworm Jim, and EA's own Road Rash have great music. Who in the world thought that this was a good sound? Oh, it only gets worse from here. You see, on non-emulated Genesis versions, that motherfucking sound is in every single song. Every single one. Because I'm a nice guy, I'm gonna replace the music with the Super Nintendo music so you can retain your sanity. The story goes as follows. In the heart of Tokyo, our hero Shaquille stumbles into an old man's fighting dojo. The old man sends Shaq through a portal, and now Shaq has to save a young boy named Nezu by engaging in a series of one-on-one fisticuffs.
That's it. That's the entire plot. There's barely any explanation as to who this Nezu kid is or why we should care about him. There's barely any explanation as to why Shaq was in Japan in the first place. This was in 1994. How could the plot be so bare bones? Final Fantasy VI came out the same month as this game, and Chrono Trigger came out less than a year later. Yes, those are different genres of games, but the first 2 Mortal Kombats and the first 2 Street Fighters had more of a plot than Shaq Fu, and all 4 of those games came out first.
The gameplay is a mess. The combos are really hard to pull off. I'm partially convinced that combos don't exist in the game at all. There are special moves like Shaq's totally not a Destructo Disc attack, but the gameplay is incredibly stiff and it's difficult to do anything at all. Jumping around feels like you're on the moon. It's hard to explain without actually playing it yourself, but when you jump, it really feels like you're weightless. You just fly in the air with a mad power hop and hope for the best. Here's how you win at Shaq Fu. Spam the jump kick, the leg sweep, and the Destructo Disc. Rinse and repeat until you win. Occasionally you'll be able to sneak in another little move, but if you get too crazy, the computer will decimate you because Shaq is the worst character in the game. It's really weird to have the main character suck so badly compared to everyone else. If I had my own game, I'd want to be the best, or at least the character with the most well-rounded stats like Mario.
And that is the entirety of Shaq Fu. There is a versus mode, but it's basically the same thing as a story, only you can play with a friend, which may or may not be more interesting to you. Honestly, I don't think the game was that bad. Don't get me wrong, it was pretty bad, but the game gets more of a bum rapport than it deserves. Honestly, Shaq Fu is everything we were talking about in this video. It would have been forgotten about completely if Shaq's grill hadn't been slapped all over the thing. The only real bad part of the game was the music. I don't know if you guys understand this, but this is what I had to put up with for 2 hours.
To me, Shaq. After all the things I've done to support you, I was on your side when you feuded with Kobe. I watched Steel and Kazam. I paid to watch Kazam. You've left me no choice.
Oh God, what happened?
I tried to find a celebrity to endorse my game, but he kicked my ass and took it from me.
Who was it? Who did this to you?
M. Night Shyamalan. His fists were everywhere.
Shyamalan! Hey everybody, it's AsaiNeroTran again. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed making it. I know you just put up with like 20 minutes of me, which is more than any human being should ever have to bear, but there's just a little bit more. First off, just click right here in order to subscribe to the channel and get updates whenever I get a new video out and all that jazz. If you like the video down there's a little button that says like, or if you're on some futuristic version of YouTube, it might be over there, or up there. I don't know how this future looks because I can't tell that kind of stuff. Now, a couple of videos ago, I made a review of a game called Disorder, and I ran a contest. Whoever shared the video on Twitter was eligible to win a free copy. I would just select one at random. And the person that was randomly selected was Super Chun-Li! Love the Street Fighter name. Congratulations. Just shoot me all your information on Twitter so that I can send you the game. Congratulations. I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoy that game as well. Now, for everybody else, right here is a link to an AsaiNeroTran video, just another one kind of like this one, the last one, Tom Sawyer, which was really fun to make. That one took forever to make as well. I know. It's a one-man show, where mostly I write it, produce it, everything basically. And over here is a top 10 that we made. I don't remember what the last one we made, but it'll be that one, or whichever one I think was really popular. And if you click on my face, it'll take you to just a random video that we made. So don't touch that dial, there's more stuff coming, so just stick around. And now I'm going to sit here awkwardly as I wonder how many of you didn't get that dial reference. God, I'm so old. Shyamalan!